All right. So my name's John. I've been. My history is I've been doing costume conventions for over 7 years. This is my third costume con I've attended. But with historical reenacting, I've been doing it for 20 years, ranging from BC to World War II. And I'm going to sound like a hipster here, but actually I was into steampunk before it was even known to the general public. Other than that, we're going to have fun here because the Highlanders got the ends. We'll find out later here. I'm a Lowlander. You'll bet you are.
Anyway,
I'm some Lowlander. I'm partly Welsh.
Anyway.
I'm Henry Ozier. I've run Costume Con twice before. I've been reenacting for 20 years, so when steampunk showed up, I was like, I already got the postcard that I'm doing Victorian and Old West. And in my local steampunk community, I'm very active, and so is it. And I'm also going to give plugs to, I'm in Wisconsin, where TeslaCon is one of the biggest steampunk conventions out there. If you haven't been there, get there.
Where in Wisconsin?
Madison.
Of course it's nice.
Madison.
Same place.
All of the vacuum cleaners were afraid to come out, so I'm at home this time. But I do all kinds of historical recreations. I do, and this is the first year in about 10 or 12 that I am not going to be competing. So I'm just going to sit back in the audience and enjoy myself.
Yeah, I'm the crazy guy competing and doing ninja work at the same time.
Ooh.
At the same time. That's nuts.
We'll find your minutes.
Well, before I start, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you invite people to press your buttons?
Oh, I buttons pushed, but you have to watch out because you don't know what's going to happen if you push it.
Only in steampunk you say that grinds my gears.
Only if you got built correctly.
Yeah.
My name is Todd Clark. I'm the director of the Toronto Steampunk Society. We are the longest running steampunk group in Canada. I've been into costuming and really just steampunk for not that long, only 6 years, but I got a very late start in life in costuming. As for liking steampunk, I liked steampunk from way before the term was coined. There's a movie called Master of the World, based on the Jules Verne, which I always loved that movie.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, and it's
great cast.
It is steampunk. I mean, it's based on Jules Verne, but it's 2 or 3 decades before the term was even coined.
That was mid 60s.
Early 60s, I think.
Yeah.
But
Vincent Price, Charles Bronson. I mean, right
super
there.
young Charles Bronson. Super young.
In a supporting role, it's like, whoa.
He's the young dashing hero in that.
Yeah. So steampunk has been around for good,
Well, it was basically created in 1900 by Jules Verne.
Yeah, but
Well,
modern,
actually, even
the
before
idea, the term of steampunk, I heard it described once as Goths discovered brown.
yeah,
That's the joke description.
but it's
The
been
thing
around
is that
since
anybody who's ever loved
80s,
Victorian
yeah.
style and the beauty and the craftsmanship, I think that's one of the things that helps to define steampunk is that it is not mass-produced, plastic, modern styling. You can have steampunk with modern clothing if you do it the right way.
Yes.
You can have steampunk with 1700s, 1500s.
I did steampunk Japanese.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I could
there-
easily see steampunk Japanese.
There is a woman out there living on the East Coast. Her name is Jenny Hellum, JENIHELLUM. She has a blog, Multiculturalism for Steampunk. Talking about doing steampunk around the world and in culture.
We're actually working on a panel like that. One of my admins is working on a multicultural panel for Fan Extra this year.
Yeah, and because Victorian is, its Victorian era is like, okay, late 1800s, but that happened all over the world.
Well, I do a steampunk with no name.
Yeah, great.
Right? A Western steampunk.
Yeah, I want to do a steampunk Vaquero.
Yeah.
Actually, just so you know, the term punk was added to steampunk. In the 80s, there was a thing called cyberpunk, where it was, you're great with cybernetics. Well, somebody says, well, why would you do it with steam technology? So the punk came from steampunk, from cyberpunk, just so you get a little history of that there.
Yeah.
And then the Old West stuff is called Western punk.
I've heard it.
There's lots of subgenres people call things.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, steampunk is so encompassing to any culture.
Yeah.
It, anything of that right time period is steampunk.
Yeah.
No matter what they were wearing. Adapted into Civil War.
Yes, there's some of the first steampunk comics done by a major company were that direction. I mean, you had Master of the World, you had Gotham by Gaslight. Okay, but then you also in short term had Native Son and the Blue, the Gray, and the Bat, which were alternately putting Superman and or Batman in the Civil War.
Yep. I've actually heard even now they're thinking of revamping Jonah Hex more steampunk.
Well, they've already done it, and that movie bombed
Haven't seen
because
that.
it wasn't Jonah Hex.
Yeah.
No.
It was steampunk, but it wasn't Jonah Hex.
I always bring up Wild Wild West.
But that's true to the show.
Yeah.
The show was steampunk before it was steampunk,
Yeah.
and the movie is true to the show.
Yep.
I was gonna say, not picking on you and your wonderful helmet there. A lot of the things that, you put goggles on anything is steampunk.
Gears or goggles and steampunk.
Yeah, not entirely.
There's a very funny video called Put a Gear on It.
Yeah.
Talking about the tendency of sticking gears all over the place. I do have one little gear right here on me, but this is a memorial pin for Marty Gear. So this is my vampire bat with the fangs and the gear in the center.
He was an old-time costumer who really kept things going of all sorts for many, many years.
Yes, not all of my outfits have gears or goggles.
Yeah,
Just some of them,
yeah.
or most of them.
Mine has none.
Yeah, mine have
Mine has
none.
none.
And a lot of people like it because they make big gadgets and stuff. You don't need big gadgets and stuff. It's cool, you know, to figure out how to take something and steampunk the hell out of it. And, you know.
I'm one of those, I don't need to steampunk out any of the weapons because from basically 1860 on was the experimental weaponry stages around the world. You basically go, look, I can get a replica. A lot of people like the Lamat revolver.
Yeah. Big, complicated gun.
Great shot revolver.
With a shotgun underneath.
65 caliber.
No, it was a
9-shot
9-shot,
revolver.
30
12
cal.
millimeter, 10 or 12.
It was a 30
Eight.
cal, 9 30 caliber, and then a 12-gauge shotgun barrel.
Yeah. Yeah, underneath.
But the Lamat also made a 5-shot, 65 caliber grape shot revolver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's like the volcanic pistol.
Yeah.
So steampunk, it's not funny.
I was gonna say in the back there, you see a guy taking off his gas mask. I see a lot of gas masks. They're popular, and it's one of those things. Yeah, they do kind of fit into steampunk because back then Victorians were fighting about chemistry. Chemical dyes are huge. It's not all black and gray. Victorian colors, and I know you'll background,
Yes.
were bright and like, oh my god.
They were almost neon in their intensity.
Yeah.
When
It's
the
hard
neon
eyes coming
dyes
out of
came
Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a period that the Thames actually at night glowed green in some areas. They're not sure exactly why, but if you think about it, everything that was getting dumped into it.
Phosphorus.
It got a little darker after Prince Albert died.
Yeah.
And Queen Victoria went into mourning. You saw less bright colors, at least in England.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, from what the Victorian influence when it came over to the Americas was just first started in high society because they're like, well, if the royalty's like this, we have to be like
Yes.
this. The common person during the steampunk Victorian era and all that stuff, I kid you not, they would come in from the coal mine or where they're working, sit down here, kick their legs up, didn't care that they scratched their crotch and belched out loud.
Yeah. Working class people were working class people.
A lot of people always think, oh, steampunk, they're all going to be high-toity society.
No.
No, there's somebody down in the bowels of the ship shoveling the coal.
Yeah.
One of the,
I've seen
one of the
people doing that character. So.
One of the easiest costumes that a number of people do early is the Grease Monkey character.
Yeah.
Because it's an easy costume to do.
One of the most brilliant steampunk outfits and characters I ever saw, and you don't need a character for steampunk, but a lot of people do, it was a young woman wearing like a white dress shirt, these newsboy caps, where the bill and the thing in the middle, pants. She pulled socks over to sort of make it look like knee breeches and just shoes. And she's sitting there in the hallway in her little thing, and I'm like looking at her and going, "Are you in trouble?" "No, monsieur." "Is someone chasing you?" "No, monsieur." "Do you need protection?" "No, monsieur." "What are you doing?" "I'm a spy, monsieur." It's so brilliant. I was like, oh my god, it's so simple and just doing your little thing. Yeah.
I belong to in the past I belonged to a group called Steam Century in Wisconsin where I'm from also. And we did mysteries, but we basically changed history. The American Revolution failed. It was still a British colony and we were on a British airship. Well, everybody loved my character because I was the asshole. I was a detachment from the local militia unit to guide this new airship through the Wisconsin territories and around the Great Lakes on patrol between Fort Quebec